Have you ever considered the unthinkable? What would happen if you jumped out of an airplane without a parachute? Let's take a journey through the unimaginable. Picture yourself at the door of the airplane, heart pounding, adrenaline surging through your veins. You take that leap of faith, and everything changes. Suddenly, you're met with a force like no other, the wind resistance that pushes against you, trying to slow your descent. But there's another force at play here, an invisible pull that's tugging you towards the earth. That's gravity, your constant companion on this terrifying journey, as you plunge into the void. Gravity is responsible for your initial acceleration, pushing you faster and faster towards the ground below. It's an exhilarating, terrifying experience, a dance with danger that pushes the boundaries of human survival. You've made the leap, now comes the fall. Now you're in free fall, plummeting towards the earth at an astonishing speed. Imagine for a moment, you're a human meteor. The force of gravity is pulling you down, while the air you're rushing through is pushing back, creating a kind of cushion around you. This is the essence of free fall, a battle between gravity and air resistance. Let's unpack this. Gravity, that invisible force that keeps us grounded, is now your greatest foe. It's pulling you down towards the earth at a whopping 9.8 meters per second squared. However, as you accelerate, something interesting happens. The air around you begins to resist your downward motion. This is known as air resistance or drag. Now picture yourself as a skydiver. Your body position can drastically affect your rate of descent. Spread your arms and legs wide and you increase your surface area, ramping up the air resistance and thus slowing your fall. Tuck yourself into a ball and you'll decrease air resistance, speeding up your descent. This is why skydivers can control their speed and direction, all by manipulating their body position against the air resistance. As you continue to fall, the air resistance increases until it matches the force of gravity. When these two forces balance out, you stop accelerating and reach what's called your terminal velocity, the fastest speed you'll reach during your fall. For a skydiver in belly-to-earth position, that's about 200 kilometers per hour. If you're picturing that in your mind, it's a speed so fast that a trip from New York to London would take just over 6 hours. But instead of sitting comfortably in an airplane, you're rushing towards the ground with nothing but the air to break your fall. So, you're falling at terminal velocity, but what does that mean for your body? Well, that's a question for our next scene, where we'll delve into the human body's response to these extreme conditions. Stay tuned, we're just getting started. How does your body cope with the intense forces during a free fall? Well, let's dive into it. When you're in free fall, your body is essentially in a state of weightlessness. It's a bit like being in space, except you're plummeting towards the earth at breakneck speed. This feeling of weightlessness can be both exhilarating and disorientating. Your stomach may do somersaults as it tries to grapple with the lack of gravity, creating that butterflies in your stomach sensation. Now let's talk about your heart. Normally, your cardiovascular system works against gravity to pump blood around your body, but in free fall, gravity isn't pulling your blood down towards your feet. Instead, your heart is pumping blood more evenly throughout your body. This can cause a temporary increase in blood pressure, especially in the upper body and head. You might feel a bit lightheaded or even pass out if your body can't adjust quickly enough. And then there's hypoxia. As you ascend in an airplane, the air gets thinner, meaning there's less oxygen to breathe. If you jump from a high enough altitude, you could experience hypoxia, a state where your body doesn't get enough oxygen. Symptoms of hypoxia can include confusion, shortness of breath, and impaired decision-making. Not exactly what you want when you're hurtling towards the earth. So while your body is experiencing a cocktail of physiological responses, it's also attempting to self-regulate and adapt to these extreme conditions. It's a testament to the human body's resilience and adaptability. But remember, all of this is happening in just a few minutes, maybe even seconds, depending on how high you've jumped from. It's a wild, intense ride for your body, and one that's not without its risks. Your body is enduring the fall, but what happens when you hit the ground? Let's find out in the next scene. The ground approaches fast. What happens upon impact? Imagine the sheer force of a human body slamming into the earth from thousands of feet in the sky. It's a terrifying thought, isn't it? Let's break it down. Upon impact, the human body would be traveling at terminal velocity, which is about 120 miles per hour for a person in a belly-first position. The sudden deceleration would exert an enormous force on the body, equivalent to a car crash at high speed but without the benefit of safety structures or airbags. The potential injuries vary widely, from broken bones to internal organ damage. The force of impact could shatter the skeletal structure, causing bone fragments to puncture vital organs. The shock could also cause the heart to stop, resulting in immediate death. Moreover, the brain could suffer from severe trauma, leading to unconsciousness or even brain death. But what about survival? Well, the chances are slim, but not zero. The key to survival lies in reducing the impact force. That's why you'll often hear of survivors trying to hit trees or slopes, which can slow down the descent and distribute the impact force. Of course, this comes with its own risks, such as getting impaled or crushed, but in such desperate situations, it's all about choosing the lesser of two evils. Another factor that could play a role in survival is the body's position upon impact. A feet-first landing might increase the chances of survival by absorbing some of the impact force, though it could result in severe injuries to the legs and spine. In the end, it's a deadly game of chance and physics. If all the conditions align perfectly, the right angle, the right speed, the right landing spot, there might just be a glimmer of hope. But let's be clear, jumping out of a plane without a parachute is not something anyone should try. The odds are against you, but there are tales of survival. Believe it or not, people have survived falls from great heights. The annals of aviation are filled with stories of individuals who, through a combination of luck, instinct, and physics, have lived to tell the tale of their high-altitude plunges. Take Vesna Vulovic, for instance, a Serbian flight attendant. In 1972, her plane exploded mid-air, and she fell approximately 33,000 feet, trapped within a section of the aircraft. Miraculously, she survived, thanks to the plane wreckage that cushioned her fall and the snow-covered hillside that further absorbed the impact. Despite severe injuries, Vesna made an almost full recovery, earning a spot in the Guinness World Records for the highest fall survived without a parachute. Then there's Nicholas Alcomade, a British airman from World War II, who jumped from his flaming Lancaster bomber without a parachute, rather than burn alive. Falling nearly 18,000 feet, he landed in a snow-covered forest, his fall broken by the dense foliage and soft snow. He walked away with just a sprained leg. Even more recently, in 2013, a teenage stowaway survived a 5.5-hour flight from California to Hawaii, hidden in the wheel well of the plane. At altitudes reaching 38,000 feet, he endured sub-zero temperatures and a lack of oxygen, yet miraculously survived. While each of these stories is a testament to human resilience, they are also stark reminders of the extraordinary circumstances that contributed to their survival. The plane wreckage, the snow, the dense trees, and even the wheel well, all played a crucial role in cushioning the impact of their falls. These survival tales are exceptional, and they should remain that way. They are not a testament to the survivability of free fall, but rather, they highlight the sheer unpredictability of such situations. Remember, parachutes were invented for a reason. Against all odds, some have survived, but it's not a gamble you'd want to take. So, what would happen if you jumped out of an airplane without a parachute? Well, we've taken quite the plunge into this topic, haven't we? We dove headfirst into the physics of freefall, exploring how gravity and wind resistance shape our descent. We examined how the human body reacts in such conditions, facing extreme speeds and plummeting temperatures. Then, we hit the hard truth of impact, discussing the brutal consequences of meeting the Earth at terminal velocity. Despite the grim reality, we also highlighted the slim chances of survival, recounting tales of miraculous escapes that defy all odds. In all, it's clear that leaping from an airplane sans parachute is a gamble with life itself, a perilous venture where the stakes couldn't be higher. Yet, it's also a testament to the resilience of the human spirit and the wonders of science. Jumping out of an airplane without a parachute is a death-defying act, but understanding the science behind it is nothing short of fascinating.